Kalispera Seorius. Manager, quick! The ordeal is upon us. The Dawn of Green. Let's... Wait. You're not Manager X. Oh, right. Wrong game. Well, managers, don't worry. I'll explain all there is to know about it to you. We have time. It will be waiting beyond the door anyway. But first, what are ordeals? Those come from Project Moon's previous game, Lobotomic Operation. In this SCP management simulation game, while performing tasks on anomalies, the Glyphos counter increased, and at a certain threshold, the Glyphos level would as well, either causing containment chambers meltdown or spawning ordeals. Ordeals are self-explanatory. They were events where specific creatures spawned in the facility, and you, the manager, had to deal with them, violently of course. They were classified by their rank, from dawn to midnight, and their type, indicated by a color. Here we have the Dawn of Green, also called Doubt. Probably the most simple one. Some robots spawned in the facility and tried to kill employees, so you just had to punch them to death. And here in Limbus, we have to do the same! Well, to be fair, there are a few more than usual, and your sinners aren't all equipped with our top gear ego suits and weapons, but I'm sure we can deal with it somehow. In this video, I'll explain to you the event and present you my advice and clear without using the newest ID or Battle Pass egos. First, let's present the event. In this ordeal, you, the manager, have to kill as many robots as possible each turn during the time limit. Depending on your performance, you can complete several missions, which is what gives you reward in this event. As for how it works, the number of enemies is limited each turn, between 4 in the first turn to 10 by the end. Each turn, 3 spaces in the field are filled by enemies in the reserve. So first turn, you've got 4 robots to beat. The limit goes to 5 on the next turn. If you kill all 4, 5 new robots will spawn. If you only kill 3, however, 4 new ones will spawn, with the undefeated one staying. To get the full clear value required by the missions, you then need to kill every single robot on every turn. The question is, how do we do that? Well, the first thing to consider is the enemy's weaknesses. Enemies' passive don't matter too much if you don't get hit, which you should avoid to kill all of them. One robot type gives you damage up next turn, so you can take that into consideration when thinking your turn. However, what is important is their weaknesses. You need to kill them in one turn, and since hitting weaknesses can double your damage, it's pretty mandatory, especially for late turns. So here you have their weaknesses. The most important is Pride, doubling your damage. Then scene-wise, you have Wrath and then Lust, and damage types first Blunt and second Pierce. So those are the ones you want to focus on for your composition. But before that, I have to talk about the Captain privilege. For the Captain is responsible for the team, they also get bonuses. Those being one more skill slot, like if you are on turn 2 already. One of their skill 1 is replaced by a skill 3 in their skill pool, so they have 2 of each skill. Lastly, killing an enemy heals the sanity of the 2 lowest allies and grants ego resources for all affinities, with a bonus for the killing blow scene. So with them, you not only ensure constant resources gain, but also quick SP regeneration. So you want at this post an ID that can make a lot of kills. So let's start with the IDs. Some sinners have much better options than others, but first, let me list a few options for each sinners. Isang's best option is definitely Spicebush, though Molar with Discard and Blunt could help. Faust's Regret is close to mandatory, but Grip Faust has good skill matchups. Dawn's choice would be a Sank ID or a middle one. Ryoshu's 3 stars hit some weaknesses, W Corp probably being the best overall despite Slash. Mersault is not the best for this, but IDs like Liu, N-Corp or Rose Spawner might work, especially with the Regret ego. Onglu's best option might just be his Hook Office ID, with a mention for Liu and Kurokumo. Heathcliff doesn't really fit, pick one might be the better one, or just his base ID actually. Don't try Rabbit for the hard version. Ishmael's 3 stars all have options. Rodia's Diechi and Rose Spanner's ID can fit, though a mention for N-Corp ID having all matchups. Sinclair's Sank ID is probably better than his N-Corp ID here, for the simple reason that SP management can be really hectic, and that one of the missions is not getting at minus 45 SP. But both are very strong here. Otis' new ID is tailor-made for this, but other options would include Molar and then Sank. Finally, Gregor doesn't have much options outside Twin Hook and maybe Leo. So here are the options. If you can, I'd only keep the top ones in mind. But in this event, a very important thing is attack weight. Spicebush Yisang, Regret Faust, and Magic Bullet Otis all have AoE, which can really help in the event, while also having good type matchups. It's therefore really recommended getting at least one of them, more if possible, and one as a captain in the reverse order of priority. I mentioned that you can charge Regret Faust now, and she's a really strong unit. But this isn't the only reason to include them, as I'd like to talk about egos. Egos are very important, and thanks to the captain buff and the sheer number of skills later, you'll likely never have to worry about lacking resources. What you want the most are high attack weights. So the 7 attack weights are kings here, aka Otis Ebony Stem, Yisang Sun Shower, and especially Ishmael's Blind Obsession for being Pierce and Pride. You will need one of them at uptime 4 for one of the missions, but even then, they are really strong late turns, so having one is good. Then you want egos that match enemies' weaknesses with 3 attack weight minimum. A non-exhaustive list includes Faust's Fluid Sac and Representation Emitter, Ryoshu's Blind Obsession, Mersol's Capote, Onglu's Land of Illusion, or Dimension Shredder, Heathcliff Yasunyata, Ishmael's Outdoor Blossom Star, Sinclair Nantu, Otis Holiday, and just Gregor's Legitimate. The more attack weight, the more of those pesky 1 HP robots you can finish to avoid losing the run. But that means you mainly want Sinners with both matching ID and a strong ego. So I thought that not all of you are gonna have all IDs, like the new Otis one, or even the Battle Pass for Blind Obsession. So I decided I'd make a run without those two for reference. This will be a hard run, as I consider the normal run easy enough, and mainly because you can just apply the first half of the hard run to it. The team is as follows. Regret Faust for Team Captain with Fluid Sac, either the best or second best unit with Bullet Otis. Then Spicebush Yisang with Sun Shower, pretty important. And in third, Mola Otis. Her blunt skills coupled with discard allows for more consistency in high damages, with access to Ebony Stem for the attack weight, though only at uptime 3. For the same blunt discard reason, I took DH Rodion, and as the last member sank Dawn for a type and scene matchups. Sinclair would be better, but I just got him at that point and he wasn't leveled up. You can switch some units as you want with earlier mentioned options, especially if you have Bullet Otis or Ishmael's Blind Obsession, but I'd say that having a Faust or Yisang for egos is really valuable, and Otis as well. Also, having them uptight and as close as possible to level 40 is better. So for the gameplay, I'll be speeding it up to avoid unnecessary long lengths. The first 2 turns, you want to build up sanity. You might have to retry a few times though to get all robots in the first 2 turns. Giving up refunds you the module, so don't hesitate to test limits. The earlier bots are lower levels, so even skill 1s will win clashes, and some will even kill. Starting turn 3 though, you should mostly be on pace. I had to retry the first 2 turns a few times, but didn't afterwards. Self-tremor management on Faust is important, and for Yisang as well. Using Spicebush skill 2 without AoE is fine, since you're likely to not get enough tremor every time. For Faust, using at least one skill 1 to get tremor on turn 1, and leaving the kill to another is a good idea. Using skill 2 refounds, so don't feel scared to use it often. You have 2 skill 3 in the rotation, so like for Yisang, using some early for kills is also a good idea. Just be careful, since if the skills are not used, the tremor will be wasted. Mola Otis tremor management is optional though, but overall from turn 3 to 5, try to use stronger skills and maybe an ego if needed. Otis Topatos Matos is great to get extra damage if locked on skill 1s. In the second half, all hell let loose. You should have a nice stack of ego resources if you killed with your captain enough, which is pretty easy with Brigade Faust, and that's great because enemies are stronger, and killing them is harder. Using egos with high attack weights allows you to reduce this HP difference for a lot at once, even staggering if you manage, so you can keep killing them in the same way. But using 1 or 2 egos per turn is a good idea, especially if you are locked on skill 1s. Your captain replenishes SP on kill anyway, or just use one of Faust's egos, though her skills are actually mostly better. The one thing to be careful about though are the highest ranked robot, Delta, which have high HP and so stagger threshold too, so be sure to put in enough damage. But with the number of skills you have, you should have even more than necessary, though if you're not using Regret Faust, those extra ones might just be what replace her. Also, be careful to not lose clashes. Losing one means losing damage, and in worst cases, your sinners get staggered. So use egos if necessary. So last turns, just send every random bullshit you have and clear this thing. And you're done. If you didn't lose too many clashes and take too much damage, or even any if you could, you should have almost all missions done in one try. Almost. There is one last mission that might require you to get out of your way for it, which is killing 7 enemies in one skill. You're likely to not do it in your full clear try, or maybe with one of the 2 things if you tried. The best way to do this one is just in another run where you focus on it. But first, you need a 7 attack weight skill. That means either Yisang's Sun Shower, Otis Ebony's Stem, Ishmael's Blind Obsession, at 13-4 obviously, or Bullet Otis, but you'll need to set up with her, so a bit harder. I did it later without Regret Faust, because you can't have counters, so with Spice Bush as captain, and with Sinclair. So for this, you just have to understand a thing or two. The robots spawned are in a set order. Disclaimer, I'm not 100% sure. So the first spawning have lower HP. Carefully using skills with enough damage, you set them at low HP, so they will be killed by your AoE. Since they stay on the field, you just have to leave them be at low HP by using defensive skills to temporize until all the ones currently on the field are at low HP, ready to get ripped. You will want to kill a few with your team captain in the first turns, so you can gather the needed scene resources though. If one would die from full health because you don't have an appropriate skill, since they stay on the field, just delay for next turn. Then once you're ready, pray to roll heads. Depending on the circumstances, you might not need it, especially because they are at low level, but I did. If you failed, well, time to retry. If you're not sure if you're killing all 7, try to take notes on the enemy count on the top right and the ones you kill in the turn. But anyway, once you've done this, you just need to finish your ordeal casually. I'm not sure if you can give up on it if you can't, but I was not gonna try. And that's it, manager. With this, you've completed the ordeal. Well, until the next one, that is. I hope you're not too scared of clowns. I don't wanna see them, I don't wanna see them, I don't wanna see them. And that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Final message, Happy New Year! I'll continue my other video ideas now. Subscribe and everything for news. But meanwhile, see you next time, and keep your sanity high in this slow descent into the inferno.